relation to the city property taxes, do you feel that Lancaster County is in need of building a new jail?
Well, you know, it's interesting that you're asking, and I appreciate that. We haven't had very many forums where we've had an opportunity to talk about the need for the new jail. The jail is a concern because it is said that we have overcrowding in our jail. I have no doubt about that. We do have overcrowding in the jail. However, I think that the study that was done to determine whether we needed a new jail and how many beds we actually needed, which is referred to as the pre-jail architectural study. As I look at it as a sociologist, what I find is that the data in that particular study is invalid. And what I'm concerned about is that the county commissioners have made decisions based on that data, which lead them to come to a conclusion that we need to have now a $65 million jail, originally what they thought was a $94 million jail. What they were talking about was close to 1,000 beds, and now suddenly it's down to about 650 beds. These numbers move pretty quickly and pretty squishy. What I'm finding is that if we take a look at the alternative to jail incarceration programs that we have, which really are fairly new, that we have very good data showing that for nonviolent offenders, this is a way that we can reduce people going into jail, and people in fact are at home. They're on a ankle bracelet that allows them to only stay in their home and within certain boundaries. We can determine in fact where they are, but not only that, we can determine if in fact they have alcohol in their system or if they have drugs in their system. So these technologies are pretty good at helping us keep people in the way that they should be behaving. In addition, we know that a large proportion, 30% of our jail population, is actually folks who have mental illness problems. If in fact we expand our mental health programs and we give people the services that they need, I think that that too will cut down on the need for the jail, simply because there won't be as many people committing as many criminal acts. The other thing about the study that concerns me is that it was looking at population statistics and anticipating a growth in Lancaster County in our population that I'm not sure that we're going to see to the degree that that particular study indicated that. The study showed that we would have a 2% per year increase in our population in Lancaster County. And instead what we have found is that we have about 1.2% population increase since the year 2000. Furthermore, we need to look at the composition of that population growth. And what we have, instead of a large growth in the 18 to 25-year-old population, which is where you would anticipate the criminal activity is out of that group of people, certainly that's the most frequent as we look at the data. Instead, what we find that the 65-year-old and older population is what's going to explode in this county within the next couple of years. And we do know that among 65-year-olds and older, there is not a high crime rate. So given those kinds of concerns, I think what we need to be doing is taking a broader look, rather than just saying, yes, we do have an overcrowding problem at the jail. What we need to be looking at is, why do we have an overcrowding problem? One of the reasons is because we don't have as many people coming out the back end. That is, they have a longer length of stay in the jail. Well, why is that? Is that because we're not getting them? The jail is designed not to be a place for people to receive their sentence. Only in cases where it's less than a year are people sentenced to jail. In fact, they end up in prison. But instead what we have is people who are waiting to go to court. And if that's the case, why are people in there so long? Are they telling us that they want to forego their right of a speedy trial? Is it because a judge has kept them in there? Is it because the lawyers have been taking a long time getting their investigations together? What are the reasons that we have this backlog? If we find out those reasons, we can again take this larger perspective and maybe come to some agreements in terms of how we want to go forward dealing with this population of people. I don't think, if we were to take that good hard look, I don't think we would need 650 beds in a new jail. Now, that said, some of the other concerns about the jail have to do with the transportation costs, because we will be going out to Southwest 40th and O streets. It takes a long time to get out there. It's very costly, certainly in terms of the gasoline that we're using, and more importantly, it's very costly in terms of staff time. So we're going to have a lot of driving back and forth to court and downtown and so forth. In addition to that, we need to be concerned about the staffing for the jail, the operations for the new jail. That's looking like it's going to be at least $4 million more per year. Those are dollars that are going to come out of our property tax once again. And certainly if we look at the funding mechanism for the new jail, we know that the property taxes are going to increase, not within the rate of the property tax that people usually see, but on a brand new line on their property tax bill, which will say joint public agency, and that's going to be the jail. So there's a lot of concerns there, and I think that what we need to be doing now is stopping, taking a good look at this problem, taking a look at the various possible solutions. What's interesting is that just this week, because of the credit crisis nationally, the folks that are working on the bond for the city have said now that we're probably going to have to wait until about November or so until we can purchase the bonds. So we're actually being put in a position where we need to stop, and I think that that's wise. I think we need to take a look at what's going on. The jail plans have been going forward. I want to take a good look at those plans, and I want the rest of the people in the city to be able to take a good look at those plans. People in the city think that when they voted in May that they voted against the jail, and that's absolutely not true. What they voted against was a funding mechanism for the jail, and this group of county commissioners, led by my opponent, went right ahead and decided to do that jail anyway.
Okay. So what you seem to be saying with the jail in relation is that for a non-violent offender who is perhaps a first-time offender who is not a repeat problem with the city, who perhaps has a mental health problem,
Yep.
or a substance abuse problem, instead of locking him in the jail and not treating this problem, we're going to put that ankle bracelet on so we know where they are in society. We're going to provide treatment for mental health or for a substance abuse problem or both, and we're going to provide an effective rehabilitation so that way they can become a productive member of society, so we will not see them back again 3 months after they get out of jail.
Yes, you're exactly right.
Okay then.